we've gotten some information that they have shortage of extras. This is the people that they used to print the uh, first sets for applicants. And we are going to have a conversation shortly with the deputy registrar, who is in person of Nicholas Osei. And at the Births and Deaths Registry, you can see that people are going through the registration process, and they are going through each process step by step before it gets to the point where they can get their best. Then again, there is another place here which is the connection point, and that is where the people are supposed to connect these who have gone through the process and they are going to take their best certificate. This is where they are. We are told there are some challenges with it. Um, we're going to have a conversation shortly with the deputy registrar on what the issues are. Like currently, we can see that there are a number of things who are literally going through the process to approve and share access printed for them. UK, I think the other one. It's on the right. So in your short, currently the deputy registrar of the Birth and Death Registry in person of Nicholas Osei Bonsu going to give us some details as to what really the situation is pertaining to the extract we are to. Welcome to City News and Channel 1 TV. First introduce yourself to us.
I am Nicholas Osei. I am one of the deputy registrars, deputy registrar in charge of operations, and concerning the shortage with monetary experts. Let me alert here to the public. We have not short the experts, even though our stock has gone down. We have put in a request to be more on this. Currently, as I'm talking, the situation is all printed some. So it's not just that we have to run out of stock. We have concluded stating that we have also orders that we are requesting for. So totally we have not run out of stock.
What's your level of stock at the moment? If you are laying the case of the public, they want to be sure that when they come here, they can receive their boxes.
Yeah, we have currently, I can say, 2 types of stock. In order to run total placed order, and the printer has just informed me he had just added a little. The extract has a lot of security features, so you need to go through those processes in order for us to get a better material. So as a result, that's why we have added this. But we have currently the stock that we can assist them to do the reviews for this.
The Birth and Death Registry, how long does it take for anyone to get his or her certificate when they apply? And what's the application process like?
Application process is just simple. When you come to the registry, we expect here is the national. So applicants should go to the agency, go to the district, where one-on-one with the officers. When you come into the district officer, what you need is you just need to know whether you have registered before or not. And we have two processes of the registration. We have the infant registration, which is from 0 to 1 year, and then we have the 1 year up to the age 6. There's this 0 to 1 year takes less than 5 minutes to complete. So once the child or child is okay, we request the child's within card for us to ascertain that their child is one of the particular hospital in a particular district. Once we have all the information, we do that as a conversation. And we have a system that once the information is taken, we upload it into our national server. And once it hits the national server, within the next second, we also have and another side of it is the age registration that we do from the age 1 to age 16. That's where mostly those who are not looking to have their registration done at age 7. That one we need to ascertain whether the person is registered before. once it's certain that you have not registered before, and it has to be done at the district and the region in which the person is from. So once you get to our office and the officer certify that yes, indeed you are right to have the certificate, they'll take the information, and now you have a efficient system that you can even apply online. You'll be in the comfort of your home. Just go to www.media.com, and then you also go to Ghana.gov and make your payments there. Once you make the payment and you upload your information, by the next second it will hit our backend. And our officers are ready. We look at it, they are ready to access those information. And by the next 10 or 20 minutes, we are done and we push into the system. So it is a printing aspect that sometimes takes up a day. But for now, birth certificates does not take even more than a day to get ready. Once the information hits the system, now even the signature is automated. So we don't have any problems in delaying registration. Registration is done seamlessly and so simple. And we encourage the public to be at where they are supposed to be, especially in the districts in which they are born. Once you get there, you give their information and they upload it to the system. That can be printed anywhere. And we expect that we should all go to areas that we want, that they will not come and converge here. Here is for the administrative purpose. When you come, we will assist you through all the registration. But the regions and the districts are equipped now to also have those registrations done. So we encourage the public to be in the district and to be in the region and have their certificates. And instead of them to travel far away sometimes from the north to head office, meanwhile, you come here, the same service can be rendered anywhere you are. So registration process now is so seamless, so simple, and so easy. So we encourage people to do the registration, especially the certificates for infants. We call them infants, just from 0 to 1 year. Those things, it's necessary that we have this information for the nation's development.
In the spirit of transparency, how much would it cost for people to get their birth cert so that when the public is aware, they do not pay extra to anyone in getting a birth
Yes,
cert?
like I said, it is so transparent. Now you go to Ghana.gov. When you are ready for late registration, I think it's 20.6 Ghana cedi. You are going to take your own receipt. You take your receipt, you upload your information, you attach it, you send it to us. You don't have to pay anything.
You don't have agents anywhere
We don't
except
we
your
have
office.
not licensed any agent. We have not asked anyone except only our district officers and our regional officers who have the power and mandate to do the registrations. We don't have agents. So people are fond of maybe visiting those people and they are overcharging them. That's why we are encouraging them to visit our online service and have their certificates done seamlessly because it's much cheaper, easier over there. Instead of you to go, the time the person will give it to you, we may even give it less. You come, I've shown you the process where you can see it's just the same. So those that you give those information into, they also find a way and do the same as you could do and they overcharge you. So why do you have to risk by giving it to a second person instead of visiting our website or moving direct to our regions and our registers and our district to have it done without any extra cost?
Run us through the process over here. When you come to this particular center, what are you supposed to do? Let's go through the process.
Yeah. Those who you see here are those who have already had their certificates, but they seem to have one or two challenges that they want to make some changes. Others who have had their certificate long ago and they need the certified copy. In this case, the districts are also mandated to do, the regions are also mandated to do. But when you come here, once you have come, you also have the chance to assist you. So when you look at them, they have their certificates. Those over there are assisting them to make the payment. So the payment is fair. They are using normal payment. Those over here are using online payment. That's Ghana.gov. So once you come here, they'll ask you the kind of service you need. The charges are there. You pay exact the charge because they are using your phone to do the payment. So no one is charging anyone extra. Those that are receiving from online, because you have made your payment already, they'll just receive the entries and the receipts. And then there we go. We just put into the system and the registrations.
Quite interestingly, in recent times, I was here I think that was last year, we saw a number of people here, some of them coming from as far as Kumasi and the like, just because of simple errors. When you have an error on your birth certificate, it is no fault of yours. What do you do? Are they supposed to go and swear affidavit and stuff like that? Because those things tend to delay the process.
Not necessarily. We do have stages of errors. Some errors are just a typo. Some errors are maybe from the applicants. Once they are from applicants and it's a major, that one you have to go through the academic process. But if it's just like a simple error, let's say typo or male or a female, that depends on the duration. If you had received your certificate about 8 years ago and you're unable to look at it, and then it's a male and maybe it has appeared as female, we'll get into our system, the back end will check. If indeed it's just a typo, we just correct it for you. You only have to pay the printing fee. So it's not necessary people have to rush from various regions. If you look at here, the days that you're talking about, you came to see a lot of people are here. And now because we have restructured our system due to the efficiency, the new registrar and all the registrars have come, they and the government have helped us. So now we have a new system altogether, which is so efficient. So you can see all the people here. Once we come, we will spend even more than 1 hour or 30 minutes and they are gone. So now we have an efficient system that deals with this. And I can say within the country, we hold one of the best efficient systems that we produce certificates.
I think the passport office quite recently launched the fact that they want to do delivery by courier. Are you also looking at something in that line?
Yes, of course, that is part of our even not to the delivery by courier. We have the plan, the access register, the estimation. It has a plan that applicants can even print their certificates in their various homes. We just have to input in the necessary security codes, barcodes, and other things. So once you have your registration, you go to online, you just fill your form, you make your payment. Once the system processes it, wherever you are, you print your certificate, there you go. So very soon, we'll not encourage people to even come and work in here or go anywhere. It is going to be so seamless that we don't have to even deal with the delivery. You do your registration, you print it off, you go. So that is the vision of this registry.
You do birth and death,
Yes.
but mostly people come here because of birth sets. Talk to us about the
most
death
interesting
aspect.
thing is the death. And this is where we are appealing to the public. That is the most important aspect of it. You know, death is very important for us to do the registration because it helps the government to plan. When you look at some of the diseases that we are seeing, these are the areas that the government will be able to see the kind of disease that is killing people, and you can have, the solutions to it. We are having death registration as well is so seamless. When you report a death event, it doesn't take even 5 minutes for it to be registered. So we encourage the public, please find time, visit our registries and do your death registrations. Death registration is so important to the public, it's so important to the government. When someone dies and maybe he has a title or he has the money in the bank, it's only death certificate that they can use to claim those things. So if you're unable to register that event and it gets to the point that you need to access that money, without that certificate, you cannot. And these are some of the things that we see over here. People will not register their debt, but when it comes to the point that they have to access their funds and it becomes difficult, that's where they are rushing to us. Registration of debt for the first 10 days is free. We don't take money, just as registration of birth. For the first year, it's free. So we're encouraging the public, they should register birth certificate for their kids. And then death has a lot of
Therefore, relatives.
for their relatives. And we all have the mandate that one day we'll be going. So when we go, we must have a plan of registering the death. Death registration doesn't take time. This is the appeal that I'm feeling to our hospital community. Maybe they may think registering death takes so much time, but they have to find time and be, doing the barrier. But registration of death doesn't take time. It takes just about 5 minutes. And once you have this 5 minutes, you go to our registry, they'll just take some few information about the deceased and then the person who is reported. There you go, you have your person. Once it's registered, it can stay in our system over years. So anytime you need that certificate, you can just call on us, and within a minute or a day, you can have your death certificate given to you. So let's not the public take up this information. They should take it seriously and they should abide by it. We encourage them. Death registration is important. That is one of the areas that we do not see a lot of registration done. This year, we're supposed to do about 225,000 deaths.
Is that to predict that you are expecting
No,
those number of people to die?
this is where people begin to afraid that we say we are registered 205,000. No, we are all, bound to die. But the estimate from the Ghana Statistical Service is that this year they are expecting this number to die. And once they are dead, it is our mandate and responsibility to register them. So we are not telling public to die or the people to die. We are only doing our mandate as the BDR office to register all events in death. So once that event happens, we do that registration. And like I said, this year we haven't done much because the public is still not more interested in the death registration. It is one of the things that we have to do. Because when we register our death, it helps us to know the number of people who have died from a certain area. If we're able to register our deaths, they also help us to know the kind of sicknesses or diseases that are killing the people. If we register our deaths, they also help us to, the government will also look at maybe the population parameters. And if we are to do our births and deaths properly, I told you, government wouldn't spend so much in doing population census. But once we have our figures, estimated figures for births and estimated figures for deaths, all the population parameters can be estimated. So every year, the government will know the number of population that we exist in the country. You go to the Europe and then America and those foreign countries, they don't spend so much money to do population census because their death and birth registration system is so complete. They're able to estimate those things. So we encourage the public. It's not just for the family it's also for the nation's development. So we're encouraging everyone.
When coming to do birth cert or birth registration, what specific documents do you require in both cases?
Okay, let's begin with the birth certificate. Like I said, the birth certificate, we have the two classes, the infant one. The infant is from 0 to 1 year. What you need is that we need a child's weighing card. That is what certifies that that child is born in a particular area. Once we get the weighing card, we get the information from the parents and the informations like the child's name, the date of birth, the mother's name, the place of birth. Mostly, the weighing card will give a lot of information about that event. When it comes to the late registration, that is from 1 year to 60 years. That one, what we have to certify is that yes, indeed, it's not registered before. So we need your Ghana card. And one interesting is that we need an informant. The informant is supposed to be the one who saw your birth. So the primary informants are the mother and then the father. Once they are there to testify that yes, indeed, these are my children and they don't have a birth certificate, my Ghana card is here. We take those informations and we don't take their name, date of birth, place of birth, their mother's name, the father's occupation, and then we have administrative information into it. That's what information required to do birth registration. And for death registration, what required is that once the death happens, if it happens at the hospital, usually the doctors will give the medical cause of death. So that is the first document we expect to have. So once we have the medical cause of death, then we will know what kills the person, the date the person died, even the time. That information will appear on the medical cause of death. The officer will interview the informant, that's the one who is doing the registration. And then he takes something information about the person, the deceased name, the occupation, the year, and then some few biometric information. Then we also look at where the event happens and then where it's going to be buried. So we don't take more information. And that's why we don't spend so much time in doing the registration. So these are the things that we need to do registration. Maybe perhaps we also require the person who is doing the registration, the Ghana card. And if you have the deceased Ghana card, you also require to have it. And we put all those informations into our system. And it helps us to do track and traces all the events that happen.
Guru boys, do you have some within your chain of operation?
No, we have no license any Guru boy, and we don't want to have anything to do with them. That is why we have efficiently built our system in such a way that the public will even have the access to the system themselves instead of resorting to the Guru boys. Like I said, if you are in the you get to www.media.gov, feed in your information, go to Ghana.gov, pay your fee, you submit.
Not everyone is computer literate, you know.
Oh, but at least we all have phones. we are not computer literate, but we have phones, we have people in the home who can be able to do those things. So instead of you to walk far to a borough person, why don't you just contact somebody in the house and then tell the person to do that for you? And it's as simple. Because when you get to the borough boys, they are going to overcharge you. And these are the reasons that we are expecting the public not to even consult or resort to them. Let's do away with the borough people. Our system is so efficient wherever you are, the whole Ghana, the whole world, when it gets into our portal, feeding the information, go, you get your certificate. So we are trying to do away, and that is the way we are trying to do away with the borough. With this, when the public resorts to do their own registration, they will not be able to get the borough people, and then they will not be able to.
Maybe my last two questions. How important is the birth certificate? You mentioned that earlier in your narration, but largely people say that, oh, I don't see the need because I don't need a passport. I am not going to do anything that requires the birth certificate. So why should someone be convinced to get a birth certificate?
Thank you. That certificate per se will not have to get to the point that you need a passport before you do birth certificate. What we say birth certificate, that is the only document a person can have to certify that yes, indeed, you are who you are. Without birth certificate, there's no document which certify you. That's why the birth certificate gives indication on your name. It certifies your age. It is only birth certificate that can certify that you are this age. That's why if an event happens at court, they require birth certificate to establish that yes, this is the person's correct age. And that is the only document that can certify your parentage. It is only birth certificates that can indicate that this person is your mother, this person is your father. And it's only birth certificates that can also give certification to the nationality of the parents. When it gets to birth certificates, you look at their national status. If your mother is a Ghanaian and your father is an American, it is stated on your birth certificate. So it has a lot of importance. Again, it is the right of everyone to have a birth certificate. Once you are certified, it means you are a person, you are living. So if you are there and you don't have a birth certificate, the presupposes maybe you are not involved or you are not living. So that's the kind of important birth certificate. And aside that, government needs it when we register everywhere. Government needs it to do its environmental projects. For instance, in this community, able to register all the children here. The government will know that yes, indeed, this community will need a school. Because, for instance, a community like over here, actually, if you do registration here and realize that for this year we're able to register 1,000 children, and they are all 1 year. So the government will be able to plan that by 5 years or 6 years, 1,000 children are going to be grown from here to a nursery. So why don't I build a nursery over here? It also helps the government to prioritize its developmental projects. For instance, if we know that 10,000 people are over here, when government is planning, you know the kind of amenities we bring here, you know, for the benefit to benefit. So birth certificate has enormous advantages and benefits both to the government and both to the individual. So we encourage everyone. Don't let us do it. Apart from we going to the embassy that will require birth certificate, apart from we doing school activities that will require birth certificate, apart from we needing it to do our private things, it is important for us to have birth certificate because it has a benefit to the government and it has a benefit to the individual.
Lastly, we've heard rumors, maybe you can put it on the record as to whether it is factual or not, that some individuals that are members of CLOSAC who protested against the registrar have been transferred to other places. How true is this?
No, that is not true. There's no one here, I would say, protested against the registrar. We are all here. In fact, closer declare a strike, and no one protested against it. And there's no truth in it that the registrar has transferred anyone. You see, there's an arrangement that we did. Like I said, we need to do because this year we have not been able to reach our targets. So the registrar testifies that there are some experienced people that he needs to place them in the points where he will be able to help build the system. And now, like I said, in the passport office, we have activities there that we send our staff there to go and look at the certificate that appear there. And we need the experienced people, experienced hands to be able to do that job. So that is why we have sent some of our staff. And you look at it, no one has been taken away from here. Those that is just an arrangement that, and when you go to passport, we do a rotation. Every 6 months, we do rotate. Some of the staff will be rotated to passport office and NIE, and others will also be reassigned. So that is the normal thing that we do. It is never true that there has been a vacancy or registrar is transferring. No, it is never true. It is just a normal process that we do rotation most of the time to let our people go to passport office. Some also go to the records. Like I said, when you apply online, we need experienced hands so that as soon as the information hits our system, we'll be able to efficiently deal with it immediately. And we need the experienced hands to do so. So we have brought a lot of people. We need a lot of people in our record system. That's why we have brought a lot of experienced hands. So it is never true. No one has been transferred to anywhere because of that. And when you look at the transfer, it is only one person that is one of the experienced hands that is being brought to the head of. The rest are all within because some are here and we are taking them to passport because of the invitation. And some few ones are also being taken to some of the regions to be able to head the region so that we'll be able to bring our figures and get our total. So it is never true we have transferred anyone.
Thank you very much for speaking to us. That is Nicholas Osei Bonsu, the Deputy Registrar at the Birth and Deaths, and I am Fred Duhoe, coming to you live from the Births and Deaths Registry Association on the back of news we heard that the Birth and Death Registry is currently short of extras and to print birth certificates for applicants that we say they've already placed orders and they are expecting to restock their levels in the coming days to be able to serve their clients properly. Coming to you live from the premises of the Birth and Death Registry Association, I am Fred Duhoe reporting.